Hello and welcome here in Let's Talk in Venture Capital TV. My name is Javier and I'll be your host for today. And like every session, we're going to bring you the innovation, technology, and solutions you like to hear about. During all our sessions, you get to hear directly from the CEOs and the co-founders. And especially today, you are able to make your questions directly, and we have a surprise for you, so please stay tuned. But before we move on to the details, I would like to remind you that you can see all our previous shows and upcoming shows at nottalking.com/VCTV/shows. Also, follow us on our socials like Facebook and Twitter. If you're watching it on YouTube, just hit the subscribe button and you'll always be informed of great content opportunities and even giveaways like the ones we will have today. That's part of the surprise. And very important, as a reminder, anything mentioned here is not any type of financial advice. Do your research before making any decisions. It's your choices and your responsibilities. And with that said, I would like to bring on the team BioFi that we're going to be having for a second time here. Very happy for that. And we're going to be having very interesting competition. And together with us is Cody, Chris, representing BioFi, and my colleague Riaz will also be joining me and addressing the questions. Gentlemen, good day. How are you?
Very
Swell, about
well.
yourself?
Very well, thanks.
Very good. We're very happy to have you here for a second time. And we have quite a few surprises for our viewers, for our traders today. Number one is that from today, 28, you are actually having the lunch, right? Round one of
Yes,
the lunch
sir.
has started.
Round one is today.
Okay, that's fantastic. And we're going to have a lot of questions around that. But I just want quickly to share with our dear viewers the place where you can see it. Now, here, if, if to our viewers, if you would go to biofitoken.io, you will be able to see that the round one has started today, actually. 28th of March. Out of 3 rounds, the first one today, you do have the link. You press on the logo of the token, the ones on the left side. Press it, it will take you directly to where you can actually get the more information on our webpage, as well as a video, instructional video. So that is one of the surprises. The second surprise that I would like to mention, I'm sorry for talking so much, just for our instructional viewers, is that today we're not going to have like our typical AMA questions, our standard ones. We want to receive the questions from our viewers. Now, here's a trick. The top 5 most interesting questions will be awarded amount of $100 equivalent in the native token of the project of BioFi to be delivered by end of April. But today we're going to be receiving the questions. The winners will be announced later, and BioFi will be charged with getting in touch with those winners and sending to their wallet the rewards. Very important. When you make a question, please put your email as well so we are able to recognize you and contact you in order to arrange the reward and get information on your wallet. Very important. Please put your email next to your question. With that said, well, Chris, Cody, welcome once again. I'm very happy to have you here. Very excited that you're having the first round starting today. So we're going to have a lot of interesting questions. But before that, I would like if you can please just give a small recap of what is BioFi. Cody, Chris, up to you. Who's going to take this?
Sure, I'll jump in on that. And Javier, thanks for having us back. We are really excited. This is a great day. We're super excited about having BioFi launch on the token today on the launch pad. It's been a long time coming. So as a team, we're super excited. It's almost unreal. It's almost a little surreal to actually be here and get the project off the ground. So thanks for being part of that with us. So BioFi, BioFi in a nutshell is a way that allows people to secure their identity in a decentralized space. So we're all familiar with Web 2.0, not that secure. Web 3 is now about protecting your assets. and protecting your identity. So the BioFi, the idea behind BioFi was giving people back the power to control their identity and decide who sees it, who gets it. And if it's to be monetized, that they can monetize it themselves, as opposed to the big tech model where they take your data, they monetize it, and you have nothing to say about it. So it's really about giving you back the control, giving the individual back the control over their identity, and they can decide who to expose it to, when, and under what terms. So that's the first part. The second part is then to just deliver financial solutions that are meaningful in the DeFi space. We have a cryptocurrency wallet called Cryptic, which I'm happy to demo later if that's something you'd like us to do. We have a password manager. Both are secured with SATEC, our biometric authentication solutions. And we have a host of people who have partnered with us to bring biometrics to their solutions so that their solutions can play in the ecosystem. So I'll leave it there. And Cody, if there's anything you want to add, please jump on in.
No, that's a pretty good summary, I'd say. Just it's all about, power to the user and being able to provide that foundation for your security and your liquidity to begin building up, and then for you to be able to finance your solutions and the other types of financial suite options that become available. And it's really about bringing that full circle for everyone involved.
Mm-hmm.
Great, thank you. One question that you mentioned before, Chris, is about the demo. Yes, I think it would be very, very good if we can show it a little bit later
Mm-hmm.
on.
Sure.
For our viewers to have an idea. And
Mm-hmm.
when we're talking about the BioFi protecting the identity, and we go a little bit more in details, how does that happen?
Well, right now, in order to protect your identity, when people are online, when they're accessing their sensitive information, the most popular way they do it is through an ID and a password, and they're not secure. We see breaches all the time. We see hacks where people have their personal data exposed, and once your logon and password is exposed, the fraudsters then go out and they do what's called credential stuffing, and they try your logon and password in as many sites as they can. So it's insecure. 40% of the people or more reuse passwords, and an even greater percentage write them down, which is, that combination of reusing and writing down passwords makes them insecure. So by substituting your biometrics with that, instead of that login and password, you now secure the front end access to anything, whether it's Web 2, Web 3, or on device. You have to be able to defeat that first, and you can't defeat that. So your personal biometrics are unique and give you the only access to your information. So that's really what it's about. It's about creating that unique identity and preserving it and using that as the key to everything.
So predominantly the way the space kind of sees, for example, KYC or know your customer, you're mostly predominantly dealing in a centralized exchange space. And now we're kind of working into the world of the decentralized exchanges. Well, with the centralized exchanges, as these regulations increase, and of course, as you see things like Binance being required to do Binance US, their KYC, they usually predominantly use on-device KYC or on-device biometrics, predominantly ones used through Apple, et cetera, or things that are already baked into the phone. But that's where the centralized exchange goes and relinquishes the responsibility and says, we took the biometrics from the device, from Apple, straight through them. So at that point, Apple's then owns that data. They own those piles or whatever's created on your account. Now, through the SATEC, you're actually able to, that's kind of by the customer or by the business's implementation of it. So like we were saying, it can be used in the Web 2, traditional Web 3, and the on-device. So now that becomes for the company themselves to decide, and then equivalently the user to decide if they want to relinquish that data. So you could, with the usage of the SATEC for Web3 hooks, you're able to actually attach a unique biometric hash that is created with your visual and your voice and connect that to your wallet address. And so now that's a unique address, but still an anonymous address. So it's proof of singularity as an individual on the blockchain, which is truly incredible.
Oh, sounds really sophisticated.
Very sophisticated, but simple.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And that works with the app that I guess you have to download.
depending on whatever type of device, for example, like Cryptic, the wallet has on-device use of SATEC, so we don't nothing goes out. Versus like Governor DAO has the Web3 implementation of the SATEC, so that's something that's stored in the user's wallet. We don't see that hash. And then you have the Web2 implementations, which you could connect for, let's say, device cookies or your machine ID or those types of things, whether you want to do it for gaming or for advertising, and you can kind of work it down that way.
Okay, very good. Again, to our viewers, I would like to remind you that you can find more information about the project by visiting the website biometricfinancial.org. You will have all the information there available for you. And I think what's more interested for you now, as I mentioned before, is the actual launch of the token, which happens today. And again, here it is. If you go to biofitoken.io, you will be able to find all the information there. As you can see, we are in the first round. And obviously, as everybody knows, that in the first round is when you have the lowest price of the token. In the second and third round, we will only get higher. So as the saying says, the early worm catches the apple. And for that, I would like to touch a little bit of more information about this. If you can, Cody or Chris, if you can explain a little bit more about this exciting moment. And just before that, to our viewers, once again, you are able to send us your questions. Just go to the chat part, send us the best questions you have, and you will be able to earn $100 on the native token. So great opportunity for that. And we're expecting your questions. So Chris, Cody, please tell us about this.
I'm not sure I understand the question, Javier.
Please tell us about the launch.
Oh, okay.
Round one.
Wonderful, wonderful. So the launch, as you can see on the screen now, biofitoken.io, we're going to have 3 rounds starting today. The starting price for today is 0.0015, and that is basically a 50% discount rate off the go-to-market price on April 20th, approximately, of 0.003. There is a holding period on that of about 120 days. Okay, so that there's no early release on that, and so it's a great rate. But you need to hold it for a while. Round 2 will be perfect. Thank you very much. It's on the project site. Round 2 starts a week from today, and the price moves up, and it goes up to 0.0021, and the holding period there is 60 days. And round 3, which is yet another week out, our final round, goes up to 0.0027, and there's a 30-day holding period on that. So it is, it's here, it's now. Let's get on in on it and take advantage of it. One of the things we did, and I'll make a comment on this because people say, well, why isn't there a much steeper discount in the price on the launch pad? That's an important question that we get from people, but we have gone at this from a different perspective. We are a utility token, plain and simple. And we've spent a lot of time and money working on making the utility of BioFi available on day one. Okay, we're not trying to fund a concept. We're not trying to fund something that we're building in the future. We want to, the reason the price starts at, the launch price is at 0.003 is we want it to be accessible to as many people as possible. We do not want to have a big giant spike at launch and then have it wash out, soon after. So we have constructed our tokenomics in such a way that we believe we're going to have a nice steady build into the future. Our emissions go out over 10 years. It's not a 2, 3, or 4 year project. We're looking for the very long term here, and we've constructed it that way. So we believe the way we price things is going to deliver value for the long term.
I think that's an important point to make, because especially in the crypto space and around crypto Twitter, you're seeing a lot of you're seeing the hive mind, so to speak, become more aware of things that are happening. They understand the development space. They're learning more about what token raises and rounds are actually look like, and what these VCs across the board, especially on things like Soul Starter, they're actually, receiving 10x plus 20x's on their seed rounds to go to public. And that's just not I personally believe that that's not a very good model for you to kind of bring your product to market or hope for the long term for your product. So we received a lot of pushback from investors being like, why can't we have large multiples? And it just doesn't exist. This multiplier of the 50% reduction is the biggest reduction we've given. And then that's why the lockup kind of symbolizes that. So I think it's really important for people to kind of realize in their brain that we didn't give massive multipliers to seed round investors, and we're hoping to see that publicly on the market, especially as these products and the more lockups. And these guys have tons of experience. Like Finavant's been around for 5 years. I've been with them for a year. Their experience before that, working on touchless pay, etc. We're just going to ship products. These guys are just going to ship products for decades. And I'm really excited to be aboard for this.
Maybe I can ask a quick question.
For sure.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier, that this is going to be a utility token from day one. There's going to be a lot of people in our audience that are new to the space, new to crypto. How do you define a utility token? What does that exactly mean, I guess, from your point of view? That's sort of my first question. And for those that are, participating in the IO that are going to hold it up for the period that you say, what would the future for the token look beyond that period, that would incentivize people to hold it for a longer period than, say, 90 days, for example?
Sure. So when we talk about utility, there's effectively two different types of tokens. There's a security token and a utility token. Security token is by definition a security. And what that means is you're buying something for the hope that it's going to appreciate in value in the future. And that's it. And that is the difference. We are not, as I said before, we're not selling the token in order to fund a concept, an idea, or build something in the future. We have bootstrapped, if you will, or we have built our solutions. Our solutions exist today. They're in the market and they're drawing revenue. People are using them. So I mentioned the Cryptic Wallet. I've mentioned our SafeTech solution. We have solutions with Governor Dow, with CyberLeak, with Alchemy Exchange. We're working with them on solutions, and I can demo some of that stuff later when we get to it. So utility, meaning we are delivering utility day one. People can use the token, and you really only need one BioFi token to access what we're calling the BioFi ecosystem. That token is the glue that will hold the products together. You can use it to buy something. You can use it to stake, if you will, or get a rewards contract, which we are going to launch on the 20th when the token goes live on our website. People will be able to take their BioFi, bring it to our website, and they'll be able to, commit it for a certain amount of time for rewards for our products, whether it's the password manager, whether it's the Cryptic Wallet, whether it's advertising within Cryptic Wallet, whether it's access to the APIs to install biometrics into their own solutions. Those things will be available that day so people can use it. We're not asking people to sit by for 6 months, a year, or longer while we build something. So the utility is there day one.
So to kind of add to that, utility being a comprehensive use case that's important for these different tokens and these products. So a lot of time, and traditionally in the space, you see people come to market with their token, and then of course they'll say, especially with raises, they're trying to fund ideas that are very far out into the future. Finavant's already got millions of dollars into their biometric software, et cetera. All the tech that's being built up into place, and really it's about getting to market and bringing products. So what I've been in the crypto space for a while. My last interview kind of expressed, my background a little more, but seeing in the space how these products come to market, and it's my goal or our goal to revolutionize the way that people are seeing digital products in the crypto space or in the NFT space. So traditionally, you see in music or in video games, when you buy a product, you have like a digital copy or a digital box, or especially with a video game where they put a demo box, even if you're getting an online version. People, and especially with album covers, right? People need to see a physical piece of a product that they're purchasing, whether it's digital or not. It's just the way that their brain works. So as we're working into integrating these utilities with NFTs, and especially with digital properties and something you can lease, or being able to, especially say for an app, or paying for a year for a password manager, or leasing the SafeTech for a year. Now that becomes part of the comprehensive deposit or commit for your BioFi token. You're able to lock up and finance your services to receive products and more and additional rewards as time goes on. So if you're familiar, we're working with the insurance use case, et cetera, as time goes on. And if you're familiar with the Aave or Aave decentralized lending platform, how that works is you're able to deposit any amount of either Bitcoin, Ethereum, US dollar coin, et cetera. You're actually able to borrow against that. You're able to finance it. So now what I'm imagining is a future for your products and services where you're actually able to finance or cover for your services. So say for your phone, for example, you're usually, that's a black hole that you're paying into. It's just a phone bill you're paying on a monthly basis. So now imagine that you're actually capable of committing a over collateralized amount to cover your phone. So I believe that we're going to be sitting in a time where you're either collateralized, there's not going to be, are you covered, are you insured, uninsured, or, et cetera. I believe it's going to be, are you collateralized, under collateralized, or over collateralized? Is your coverage is paying for your services, or do you need to pay a copay, or do you need to pay, a whole deductible? So it's depending upon what your assets actually have and what you're able to kind of mature for your portfolio for itself. And I believe if you're over collateralized, your services and rewards should be able to fund your uses or your phone. Like just as a hypothetical amount, if you're staking $10,000 for a $1,000 phone, why wouldn't you be able to pay the deductible or the monthly fee in the reward balance? So now it's kind of the goal to begin to finance your services as opposed for you to pay for your services straight out. Same thing with insurances, et cetera.
Very good. Thank you for that complete explanation, Cody. Riaz, talking about the launch that we're having today, the round one from the token side. Can you please tell us what should we expect? What should the investors expect?
Sorry, I mean, you mean what can they expect?
And yeah, what can they expect from the launch? What's going to happen? We see that round one is starting soon. What about second round?
Yeah,
What is
so the key, obviously the key incentive for anyone that's looking at this project to participate early in the round would be the price incentive for sure, right? I mean, yeah, they already mentioned that there's a 50% discount to the listed price, I suppose, when it goes public. So as an investor, if the project makes sense, if it's something that you can wrap your head around, or you want to just participate in, as you mentioned that the token is already ready to be utilized day one, there's no reason why you wouldn't want to participate early, I think, right? Especially if you're made aware of the story now as we're talking about it.
Absolutely. I think what we were kind of trying to tailor our rounds here according to people's risk tolerance. And if people are like, oh, I really want a heavy deduction. So okay, so that's fine, but we're really trying to interest in that lock of that 120-day lock. And then that kind of reduces as of course, as the price raises a little bit with people that are more interested in a 60 or 30-day lock. And as there has been no massive pre-sale or massive deductions for pre-sale rounds, as these tokens come to market, there isn't really that massive sell pressure that comes with you seeing these giant reductions or these 5-10x's for these token raises. And then there's only for the seed rounds that there's only a 20% back that's given to the seed round investors, and then it's dripped for over a year. So the whole point is to kind of slowly bring these tokens into the market, and we base these rounds with that 50% being the best rate for people's investment tolerance or their risk tolerance on how they feel that they can break themselves in the market. So that I even think that if you're interested, all three rounds might be something you're interested in, throwing a little bit in each one to kind of see when you get your tokens back, etc. So that was kind of the intention in the big differences between the times, the pricing, and the lockup.
Great, thank you. We're getting some questions about airdrops now.
I'm only seeing the private chat. Is that there a public chat that's coming through?
It's through a chat that me as a moderator receiving.
Oh, okay, no problem.
So sorry for that. We're getting constantly a lot of messages with the hearts, with the rockets.
Yeah,
as well.
I like rocket hearts.
Nice. I'd love to do that.
But one interesting question is, and I'll show it here. What is more important, the community or the value of the token?
Always community. Always the community is the longest running thing. That's the most important part. And building up your people and the team around you and the value to that group or unit. The token price over a long period of time, it's gonna. I don't want to jinx this, but it's planned with products and locks to go up. The tokenomics are built to be regenerative, but the most important thing is the people using the products. The value of our token appreciates as people use more products. So of course, the most invaluable, it's invaluable, really, the community expanding and utilizing our products. And it's really about providing a solid foundation for you and the people around you. I want you to succeed. I want your family to grow. I want that for everyone around me. And I genuinely appreciate the time that the community's put in, the team has put in, and I cannot wait to get this thing to market.
That's a really great point, Cody. If I could just build a little bit on what you said. One thing we want the audience to know is we're seeding the market with our products now because we're launching it, but it's not about us. Because we're making the APIs available, we want to encourage other people to bring solutions into the ecosystem. It's not about us. So although ours will be the first products that are in market when we launch in the ecosystem, 6-12 months from now, we expect the ecosystem to look entirely different with multiple people bringing solutions in. 5 years from now, Finovant will be a small part of the BioFi ecosystem, and we expect it to be much, much larger with partnerships and providers from around the world. And in fact, we are actively looking for providers and partnerships now. So if people are interested, reach out to me and Cody, reach out to the team, and we're happy to have a conversation.
Yeah, it's a good time to kind of connect with us. I'd say, like, we do have a handful of partners that are already integrating, but this is the time where we're really inclined to help you with your product. If you're like thinking about a product that you're working on and you ask me some questions about it, I'm gonna help you build it, just because that's how I am. Some of the people in our group, we've helped them figure out ways to integrate the tech. We're really about the long haul, and so you see right there in that the emblem itself, it's a genome that grows and it turns into a money tree. Because I genuinely believe that you have value, and just by existing, and you create that, and I want to find a way for you to secure as much of that as you can for yourself and those around you. So that's a real big value prop, I believe, for us in this project.
Indeed. Thank you. We have another question. What are your plans for the future of BioFi?
That's a good question. So like we were just saying here, we're slowly beginning to integrate our products ourselves. We're hoping to integrate with as many other products and people as we're currently partnered with Constellation, and we're working with several of the teams in their network to kind of integrate the biometrics. We have plans in place. We're working with insurance pools and potentially things in place for some micro bonds. Where we're kind of really trying to hone in or focus, like we're kind of saying before, is connecting as many partners as we can. So what I believe is kind of happening, as you see what's becoming a layer one, or these different layer ones, layer zeros, layer twos, all starting to, this multi-chain world that's kind of, coalescing and integrating. What I think is a major proponent for BioFi and the biometrics itself and the proof of existence, for example, it almost acts as a layer X, if you will, because I can prove that you are you, with a token, and then that token can exist across your wallet on any chain. So it's almost like an integrated, a layer X between all those chains for you to be a unique individual. And then that can then be recreated on any other chain or matrix. So it's like, if I can prove that you are you, it doesn't matter which other chain or which other, algorithm we're working on, because it's, it's a singularity within the blockchain itself, which is, groundbreaking.
Thank you. Okay. There you go. Another Griborg is asking, why are you better than other security blockchains out there?
Well, no one else is bringing biometrics to the blockchain, at least not in the way we are. We have solutions that can cut across devices and access points. So we talked a little bit about Governor DAO and Cyberly and others. We have a Web3 solution with Web3 hooks. We have Web2, and we have on device. So what makes us better is we have a flexible solution that can be implemented in a lot of different arenas across different devices. when people ask us about SATEC, which is our core biometric authentication technology, we like to say, and we truly believe, that it has virtually unlimited use cases. Think about any place you want to secure information, any place you access information today, or your bank accounts, your passwords, anything. There's an opportunity to put biometrics in place to secure it. We had some conversations in the healthcare space. That's a space that's very interesting to us. It's very interesting to everybody because of all the growth there. But take access to a secure room, for example. Let's say you need to swipe a card in order to get in and get prescription medications in a hospital or in some type of facility. Well, cards can be stolen. Cards can be lent out to somebody else. A card is not the most secure way to access something, right? It can get out of your control. Your voice and your face, you're the only person, right? So if you're at a door, you can use that to get in, and no one else can impersonate you. We have a partner out of the Philippines who's building our solution into their platform for access to a facility, for the employees to come through in the morning. Instead of swiping a badge or showing an ID or something like that, they'll actually use SATEC. They'll just look in the device, they'll say their name, and they get access. They're approved in. There's no way that someone who's not authorized can get in, because their biometric print would not be on file. So there's a lot of different ways we can do it, for physical access as well as remote or electronic access.
So Chris, am I right to say that currently you are the only ones in the market offering this right now?
I'm going to say yes, but I will footnote say there may be somebody out there doing something we're not aware of. But yeah, I think we're the only ones doing what we're doing today.
There's similar projects, like for example, like WorldCoin, or something Vitalik was working on with you scan a piece of paper with your name on it versus your signature. But that doesn't keep you anonymous. That sends you a picture to someone with your address next to it. For a time period, for example, where they had the ledger hack and all those emails were leaked, and then they were able to go cross-reference that with your wallet address to see who was a high-traffic individual, and then they were doing the credential stuffing, etc. Those types of leaks should be no more. Those, like in a time where we're having where we're seeing issues with this deep fakes, etc. This type of technology to this degree is not being used on the blockchain. They're not. There's nobody. I'm like the original person who's ever conceived putting getting those links up of the biometric signature and then hashing that into a unique code, connecting that with a wallet, inserting that into your wallet, unique individual. So that's there are other companies that work with biometrics, of course, Nexus, Lexus, some things like that similar, but there's nothing that has gone to the depths and severity, or is even close to the level of sophistication that our entire ecosystem is at.
Yeah, there's a lot of biometric solutions out there. Microsoft just bought, spent $1 billion or more on a solution last year. So, they bought the big guys in the industry, but they do things a little bit differently than we do. So yeah, there's a lot of players in the space, and certainly we're not the biggest people out there.
Well, I think that gives us a super hedge.
Yeah, we are doing things in a unique way that others are not doing.
Especially as we, because we're all about that self-sovereignty, independently hosting your data, making sure that, nobody's recording all of your everything. So I think that we're in a very unique position versus these giant, these people who have monopolies on these types of fields, is because if you did have $1 billion technology like that with Apple, they're going to record your data. You don't own your data. So that we're in a very interesting vertical on making sure that you own your data. So I'd kind of written an article a year and a half ago or so. It was a proposal for Ocean DAO's grant on, they had one that was for building the data economy. So we wrote, Governor Dow, I initially wrote a concept for actually helping users retain a data aggregation model, basically on device. That was when I realized that Facebook was earning about $150 per year per user. But now it actually turns out medical data is worth about $2,000 a year. So, if you can kind of get that value put back into your pocket, I think that's my whole goal, is to kind of make it so that people can retain their own data, retain their own value, and then earn off anything that their data is creating. I think that's very important.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I want to bring in another question from Nation in Action. Can you please share a little bit more about SciTech? Does it work at a software level or hardware? Has something to do there as well?
Okay, there's a couple of different implementations of SciTech, and that's a really good question. It is a software solution, right? But it gets partnered with the hardware. Let me give you an example. Our Phoenix X1 device has biometrics built into it. It's a smartphone device. It's got biometrics built into it for access. It's an Android-based device that has two sides, if you will. It's got two SIM cards. It's got a personal and a private side, if that's how you want. That's how we like to look at it. The private side requires biometrics in order to access it. So you can keep things on that part of the phone. It's got a unique security chip that makes everything very much more secure than on a traditional device. So in that particular case, it's software and it is hardware. It's that extra security chip combined with the biometric authentication software. Now, we can implement it, and I've said it a couple of times, but maybe I have to make sure that I'm explaining it well, because we're familiar with it when we talk about it. On device means that all of the software, all of the code, everything resides on that one device. So when you use SciTech on your phone, as an example, your biometric signature stays on your device. Okay, and that's how you access things there. Okay. When we use different types of solutions, they can be cloud-based. So that biometric print, which is an algorithm that takes, data from your voice and your face and, puts it all together with keys and salting and hashing techniques, and that value is then stored in the cloud. That value itself, if someone was to see it, there's nothing they can do with it, right? They can't reconstitute it and see that's Javier. They just can't do it. That's not the way it works. So it's really a software solution that can be partnered with a hardware device, whether it's on device, whether it's Web 2 or Web 3. We can handle those solutions across multiple devices or multiple access points.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Chris, I still would like you to have that demo, if you could show us the demo. So
Sure.
until you get that all set up, Riaz, can you please tell us about the airdrops? Because we're getting some questions about airdrops. Can you please tell us a little bit more about that?
Have you and Anna discussed airdrop during the IEO? Is that something that's happening, or is that something that's happening post listing?
I'll jump in on that. The airdrops are starting on Wednesday, I believe, of this week.
Okay.
Okay.
Very cool.
And just so people understand, there's a few tasks, you have to, follow us, refer, things like that. Typical airdrop stuff to get the tokens.
Is there a buyer's activation task as well?
Yes, there is. That's right. Okay. There's a minimum $10 purchase. Okay. $10 value in the native token. I just want people to realize that you will be allocated the tokens if you win them, but you won't actually get them until the 20th of April when the token goes live. Yep. I just want to make that clear. You'll get them, you just won't get them until we go live.
But it's another good reason to participate in the early round and pick up some airdrops, right, as well. So you may as well, pick up the extra token.
I think it was 26 million extra BioFi going out in the airdrops here in this first round.
Okay.
So I think it's I think it's definitely a nice incentive for the early round people to kind of throw some in there, put your hat in the ring, so to speak, and I can't wait for it to go live.
No, I'm fascinated by the story. I've been making notes as you guys have been talking.
It's a great story, honestly.
Yeah, it's a bit to digest, right? Because you're talking about a big issue, security and privatization of data, and being anonymous. That's a big one.
Yeah, that self-sovereign identity, being able to be unique but anonymous, singularity on the blockchain. Very interesting.
Great. For our viewers, if
Javier, I'm ready when you are. You let me know when you want me to run the demo.
Okay, I just want to remind our viewers that you can learn more about this project. Please visit biometricfinancial.org. There you're going to have all the information about the project, the white paper, the team, and so on. Now, if you do want to participate in the first round, please visit biofitoken.io. You're going to have to click on the link where it's a logo of La Token on the left, and you'll have access to the page that you are viewing here in case you have an account. If you do not have an account with La Token, please go to latoken.com, go to open account. You only need to upload one piece of information and you're ready to go. And as we discussed before, now is a great time for joining this project because it's round 1 from today until 4th of April. In round 2 and round 3, as we all know, the prices will just go up. The first round again ends on the 4th of April, so you're still on time. So I just wanted to mention that one more time for our viewers. So Chris, the show is all yours.
Okay, let's see if we can make this happen. Just bear with me here. Okay, give me a moment. Where is my...
Should I share your screen? I see it.
All right. Can you see my phone desktop?
I can.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, perfect. This is my Phoenix X1. This is my device, and you'll see me using it here. What I'm going to do is do a quick demo of the Cryptic wallet. Okay, so I encourage people to go check it out. It's on the both the Google Play Store and the Apple Store. Just download it. Oops, excuse me. It's even available on cryptic.com if you want to download the APK file and not even go through the Google Play Store. So I'm already enrolled. So this is, I'm going to show you what it looks like to use the biometric authentication. Now, in this case, I'm using just facial recognition only and not voice and face, because when we do these demos, when we live stream, sometimes the microphone doesn't work properly because it's hooked up to the conference call.
Yeah, so when you are signing into these cryptic wallets, they make it so that they can't record data from any other app, so that you can't loop in your voice to another thing, and they make it so that when you're signing in, you can't screen record it. That's a lot of the things. So it makes it super privatized on making sure nobody's copying that data at the same time.
That's right. Okay, so this is what it looks like. All right, so you get a great close-up of me, right? Sorry. And all I do is you just move a little bit as it authenticates you. All right, of course it's going to fail because that's what happens when you do demos. Those things happen. So let me just close it out and do it again. Usually that's a lighting issue if it does fail, and I think we have plenty of light right now to get through this. Ah, of course. All right, one more time. We should give it a try. Ah, wouldn't you know it? All righty. I may need to restart my device. Let me try one last time. And then I'll go to the Web3. Oh, okay. Well, sorry about that, folks.
It had to happen. It's all right.
It could be because we're connected to
probably because your screen's getting on two different
live
things.
stream. It could be. It does cause issues sometimes. Okay. What I'd like to do
try
then,
later, or
what's that?
would you Would you like to try later?
We can do the SATEC
Yeah,
demo.
we could try again later, but let me show something else if I may. Let me stop sharing for a moment. And I will show.
If you need some time, I can bring up another question that we have from the public.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Javier. Thank you.
Okay, Nation Action is again asking, so, and I like this question. I'm wondering, how are you planning to enter the market where the resistance is really huge and corporates might be scared to work with new players?
So that is a decent question, but I don't think that people are really resistant to, or I don't think corporations are really afraid, especially. I mean, I guess you could see from a traditional financial perspective where might see titans of industry, Visa, et cetera, that are kind of hesitant to kind of work into the blockchain space. But as you see, they're beginning to execute on Ethereum. As you're seeing this, what I think is like this hyper adoption wave come into place. And especially as we're partnered with people like Constellation and working with these products and proving it works. Constellation's partnered with the Department of Defense. They're working with the United States Air Force on their data network that they're kind of having put in place. And I think that that's kind of why we're positioning ourselves the way we are. And because we're very interested in working with the state and the potential contracts that come from the government, and we're proving it works. And that's kind of the whole thing, is if you can get your foot in the door, and we've got our friends of our friends are working with these Department of Defense, et cetera. So and they're always saying, oh, you should look into these guys, you're interested in this tech, and our names are being traded in some very high value rooms. So I know that we're not seeing the resistance that you would normally expect, but you will 100% see resistance from Apple, et cetera, as these biometric software kind of the self-sovereign identity becomes more prominent.
Okay, so you do expect then competition raising in the future a little bit.
I hope so. If you don't, I wouldn't want no competition. Come on.
Yeah. Well, it takes you out of your comfort zone, and it's always good, right? Helps to
Yeah.
keep improving. Chris, shall we continue?
Okay, yes. Let me show what we have on. Let me show the website and share some of the solutions we're putting together with our partners. Okay, here we go. All right, this is the biometricfinancial.org website home. Do you see a brighter future? Do you see that?
Yep.
On your screen, perfect. Okay, so this is the home page, and it shows what the ecosystem looks like today. And obviously, you can buy BioFi. If you click on this, it's going to take you to our BioFi token.io utility page. Just to the LaToken launchpad. It's slow because we're on the already on the conference call. So I will go back. This is what it looks like. There you go. We saw this earlier. Let me just back up. Okay, forget it. I'll get back to that page once it reloads. Okay, this is an example. Now, one of our partners, this is an example of what we can do for an implementation. I think Cody may have mentioned this machine ID earlier. Cyberleaf Gaming is a company who wants to make sure that gaming online is fair, and that when people are playing, that it's actually the person who they say it is, and that they're not hiring a professional, or it's not a different person playing on behalf of you. So what we put together was an idea for them that they could implement that says, okay, how could we make sure that it's Cody playing and Cody hasn't hired a pro to play for him? So this, we would confirm, we would connect and look what the machine ID is. Okay. And once that happens, then we go through an enrollment. And I'll show you what that looks like. But it's similar to what you've seen on the cryptic wallet. Hopefully it'll work here. Okay. Confirmed. All right, so once you have a machine ID, you would then enroll. Okay, and this is where we're getting into the camera issue. I would have to. Okay, so we're not going to act. All right, you can see what it would look like. It's a similar process to what you saw set up on the for the cryptic wallet. So you would do an enrollment. You would enroll and say, in this particular case, BioFi keeps my information safe. So if we do that, this is what it would look like. BioFi keeps my information safe. You would do that 3 times. Once you do that 3 times, it captures your biometrics, and then you're good to go. You're enrolled. So that's how simple it is to go ahead and use biometric authentication instead of a logon and password. And then you do indeed know who is logging on. That's a Web 2 solution. With our partner, Governor Dow, where Cody originally came from when we originally met him years back, Governor Dow has put in a solution that has a Web 3 hook in it for their proof of existence portal. So what that does is it allows you to put you, without any other KYC information. Again, I apologize. I guess it's the network with running the conference call here is making this very slow. But if we give it a second to load, I'll show you what it does. I have it connected to my wallet already, so we should be able to see how it works. Okay. So this is Governor Dow's proof of existence portal. And all right, I have to reconnect my wallet. All right, and use the regular wallet connect. Give me just a moment. Typical wallet connect process. Great. My wallet's now connected. And what you can see is I'm already enrolled in this particular project. Status of VIP enrollment is enrolled, and I have the PO, the proof of existence token in my wallet. But the authentication instructions are very similar to what you've already seen. You would do a preview, and we can customize this to look like whatever a provider would want. And in this case, you would say the best things in life will always be free. And that would be the phrase that you would use every time you come to Governor Dow's proof of existence portal. So that's how it works. And once you're in and you validate,
again, this is
the best
one
things
of
in
those.
life will always be free.
Again, this is one of those
Go ahead,
situations
buddy.
where it won't record from the other devices. So if he was going to try and while his mic is attached to this computer or attached to this setting, being in a conversation with us, he wouldn't be able to authenticate on that and sign in and use his voice because it wouldn't want to record from the 2 different systems. So that it does do detection between you trying to use different softwares, etc., for if anybody trying to fake it or trying to spoof it or etc.
Yeah, thanks, Cody. I'm going to stop sharing at the moment because everything is kind of lagging based on the conference call. But you get the idea. Javier, I put the URL in the chat if you want to share it with the audience, just so that they can go check it out and see what it looks like. Then they can see exactly how the proof of existence portal works and how that solution implements. It's very simple. It's very sleek.
It's this one, right, Chris?
Yep.
Yep. Only one me at Governor Dow.
Okay, there you go. So to our viewers, if you do want to see and test for yourselves, please go to the below address. I'm going to leave it there for a little bit. Okay. We are running short of time. So to our viewers, we can do that. You can still have some questions. You can still put in the chat, and we can get later back to you with about the rewards and which are the winners. That's it. Riaz, do you have any final question?
No, I'm good. I see what you mean by unlimited use cases.
Yeah, your brain's running through them right now, isn't it?
Right, yeah, like SAT test. Is this
Oh
person
my
taking the
God,
right
yeah,
test? Right,
anything.
like there's some like but border
Unemployment
control,
fraud,
like there's like
anything.
tons of stuff, right? So
Yeah, when
yeah,
you
interesting.
figure one out, call me up. We'll help you implement.
Yeah.
Partner up, throw you right on the website.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, thank you very much for being with us. We do wish you all the best for the first round that has started and will last for 6 days. So again, to our viewers, it's this is a call for action. As you know, you have 6 days until the token value will increase, and for round one. So it has started today. You do have the website where to go. And in case you need it again, it's here. Go to biofitoken.io and take action. With that said, Cody, Chris, thank you very much for being with us once again.
Yeah,
Very
Javier, Riaz, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for the token.
It's great.
Yeah. Thanks very much. What I just say, if the community has questions, if they want to engage, please, on Twitter, we're at Finavant, and on Telegram, we're BioFi Community. So
Yeah.
check us out. If you have questions, you want to hear what's going on, learn more about the project, just feel free to reach out.
Hopefully this isn't the last time we hear from you guys. Stay in the loop. If you think of anything new, or you want to get back to us, we love working with new people. So
Yeah,
thanks again.
Perfect.
fantastic. We would love to have you again once at the show. We
Awesome.
can maybe do it for round 2 or round 3.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
That'd be
cool.
great.
Or something like that. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Great. Thank you, thank you, Chris, Cody.
Thank you, guys.
Riaz, thank you for being with us.
Thanks. Take
And
care.
to our viewers, have a great day and stay safe. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Bye.